Hi, so right, the next thing that we're going to do is do the mesh, which will follow the boundary lines that you have set up in the last video, and we will take into account these spot levels that are indicated on the survey, include the spot levels within the mesh and also the spot levels at any boundary corners. Okay? Where there are no spot levels indicated, for example, in this point here where this intersection of the grid occurs, then we will extrapolate between these 2 points and determine that there is an even slope between these two spot levels. Okay. So by this stage, I would have expected that the annotations for the grid to have been completed. You may recall from the last video that we did together the annotation for the number 5 at the top left-hand side of the grid by using the arc tool, okay, and drawing a circle with a fixed radius. Okay, so notice when you draw the arc tool, use the arc tool, you are using with this geometry mode, okay, as opposed to one of these, which means that when you first click, you place the arc or the circle by its center point, and then you can nominate a fixed radius, okay, by pressing the tab key and entering, say, for example, 350, and then press the enter key, and it will fix the circle to have a radius of 350 mils, okay, and then you can draw it. So once you've drawn the first circle, then it makes sense to copy and paste the circles to snap at the end point of each line. Okay, so for example, if I have this circle selected and I press Control D, and then when I am in the middle, so notice how I haven't pressed Control Shift D, I've pressed Control D, and then as I'm dragging, if I press the Control key again, notice how there is a cross mark that now appears at the bottom of the cursor. This means that I am now effectively dragging a copy, which I can drag to anywhere I need to place a copy. Okay. This method of dragging a copy is probably faster than the Control Shift D, just by the nature of how you press the key shortcuts on the keyboard. Okay, so you select the circle, press Control D, which is just the shortcut for drag. But to drag a copy, once you begin to drag in the direction by where you intend to place, then you press the Control key again, and a plus mark appears at the bottom of the cursor to indicate that you are in fact dragging a copy. Okay, so I'll just escape out of that. Once you've put circles on all of the end points of the grid lines, then it's a matter of using the text tool and drawing a text box and drawing the number. Okay, I did find that it was quicker to draw the circle and then immediately put the number 5 into the correct placement in the middle of the circle, and then copy and paste by Control Shift clicking the text and the circle at the same time. Okay, just so I could position it cleanly. It did mean that I would have 5, 5, 5, 5, but then it's a matter of editing each of the text boxes to 4, 3, 2, 1, or you could just draw the text boxes from scratch. Okay, so once you've finished that, this grid set out and the boundary lines are ready to form a mesh. Okay, so when you form a mesh, we need to go into the mesh tool, okay, which we will do in the next exercise, just so I can keep each individual video file size down.